Thomas Yelloweyes here with Night Train Pickleball, and today we're talking, today's Monday, so we're going to do another Mindset Monday, locked or loaded. And what I mean specifically by that will be the mindset. It's either going to be locked or it's going to be loaded. We'll talk about that here in a second. So today is going to talk about two different mindsets that I run across weekly, both in clinics and lessons, and also when I'm playing in rec play, or I'm playing in some sort of game. You know, it's easy to see different mindsets on the court. But these are two that I see. I think you could break it down, a lot of them, into these two types of mindsets. But anyway, let's jump right into it. So we have a locked or loaded. So the first one is the locked mindset. The one I'm referring to as locked is the fixed mindset. Beliefs that our basic traits, talents, and intelligence is fixed. Okay, so I do run across this, and it looks different with people, but it's still the same thing. And here's a few things to look at. So these type of players have nothing. This is their belief, is that nothing much can be done to change or improve who, what, or how they are. And there's a lot of ways of saying that. There's a lot of ways of that approach, and I hear it differently with every player that has this mindset. They express it differently, but it's basically the same thing. They tend to stay away from anything that exposes weakness and fear of failure. So you see this a lot on the court. If you run across a player that has like a one or two shots that they live on, but they don't, maybe they don't get to the line, maybe they don't hit the third shot drop, maybe they don't get into the slow game, the dinking, the strategy, but they have two shots that they live on, and a lot of times that they'll play in certain places that is successful. But if you bring them to the different skill set, play against a different skill set, or you move them to a different place where the players can handle that, then all of a sudden they'll come play there, and then you won't see them there again. You'll see them back in the places that those places are working. So believe it or not, that's a perfect example of like a fixed mindset. Those are also the players that when I see them come into lessons in clinics, I know that, they're like everybody else, they're looking for something, but they're also probably going to be the ones that don't receive the best, that are best at receiving feedback, or, any type of, coaching. I don't know how else to say that. That's basically what you run across as a coach. Is this is when I'm running across a fixed mindset. It's pretty evident. I've been doing it long enough, but it's not an end all be all. There's some things that we have to come to terms with. Come to these moments of defining moments of like, how important is it to grow for you? How important is it for your game to go to the next level? How important is it for you to play at the level that you think you should be playing? One of the things we have to look at is, do we have a locked mindset, or another way of saying it is a fixed mindset, okay? Because this is also going to require you to be, and here's the word, vulnerable. And some of us, we struggle with that, right? So then do we have a loaded mindset, which is the growth mindset? That teaches that we can improve basic qualities if we are willing to keep working. Okay. Now these are the students that are. I don't care where you are, beginner, higher level. If this is your mindset, like, I know you're going to be successful. This is one of those key things that when I see this in a student, or I see this in a player, I'm willing to invest more time and effort into that player. I'm not saying I'm not willing to invest in this player, but I know that at some point we're going to hit a brick wall with a fixed mindset. And once we hit that brick wall, no matter how much coaching or how much I invest, we're not getting past that mindset. But with the growth mindset, I know that as I'm investing in it, the more I'm investing in it at a steady rate, at a digestible rate, that player is going to continue to push and continue to grow. And here's why: because they're willing to try new things, they're willing to face failure. Once they do, they're willing to try again, and then they're willing to learn from their mistakes and keep working until they figure it out. And that is the thing, like that is me. I work till I figure it out. And when you're that type of person, you start recognizing other players that are the same way. And those are the ones that are exciting to watch as their game grows. And then love for learning and the ability to develop a sense of grit and resilience to achieve success. So they keep finding success through failure, through learning from mistakes, and continuing to work on figuring it out, right? And a lot of that's coaching, taking lessons, experimenting. One of the things that I've established in my lessons and clinics this year is, I'm starting to encourage players to treat it as like a science lab. I want you to experiment. I want you to try things you normally don't try. I want you to find out what works, because you're going to be surprised, I think, what you're able to do. But until you're given a platform or a environment where you can do that openly and without any criticism or judgments, you're willing to do that, you start finding out what you're capable of. You start finding out what shots you actually have that you didn't realize you have, or shots that you've been wanting to try for a while, and now you're finally starting it to try it in that environment, and you actually realize you're pretty good. Now you've added another tool to your game. So we're going to experiment, we're going to try some things out, right? But this is definitely a growth mindset player that does that, okay? So, when we're talking about this, players that have attained great success come from the perspective of a growth mindset. I mean, that's, based on what we talk about, that's not a news. Maybe some of that is new, but for me, it's easy to see that this player here is going to find long-term success. This player up here, this fixed mindset, is going to find immediate success, but that success will only last as long as they stay in their comfort zone, where this player is continuing to grow outside their comfort zone and get out of it and become uncomfortable to find the success at that next level, right? What am I describing? I'm describing a player who's moving through the skill levels. This one might hit home a little bit for some players that are watching this, but I get players who, one of the big things we have, one of the big issues in pickleball is self-rating. And players who like to self-rate themselves higher when they feel like they're ready, a lot of times have a fixed mindset, because they start finding that they're hitting, they're winning at their level, but really what they're doing is they're winning at that group, or at that environment of, where the rec play is. It's, when you start traveling around and playing in those levels, and you start finding out that it doesn't work. Your game works great here, you figured out here, but then when you go to these other places, that's getting out of your comfort zone, that's improving, that's changing your mindset to a growth mindset, and you're willing to lose to see if your game is at the skill level that you think it is, right? I mean, that's what I had to do. Like, I was a 4.0 in one location, and then 4.0 skill level at one location, and then I moved and came to the next location and realized actually my 4.0 skill level is really a 3.5 skill level, just because I was winning against a smaller population of players. When I got to a bigger population of players, that skill set, that skill level wasn't as strong as I thought it was. It was a hard pill to swallow, but it's one that I was willing to go, okay, what do I need to do to get to this skill level and play at a successful, games in this, and that's that growth mindset. So there's a quote that Mr. Tim Notke said here, the basketball coach. He said, "Hard work beats talent when talent isn't working hard." And a lot of times when we have a talented player, they get a fixed mindset. And I'm not saying this is true for everybody. I'm just saying in general that, it's easy to get a fixed mindset when you come into a sport or come into something and that you're already really good at. Then it's really, why do you need to grow? Why do you need to change? And coming from, racquetball, coming from tennis, coming from ping pong, you're already coming in with some skills like somebody like me who came from ultimate frisbee, I didn't have. So it took me a little longer to get to where I am. and to get to where I want to go. But a lot of times those players, they live on that. Like I'm having so much success with my forehand because I hit so hard from racquetball. They get stuck in this fixed mindset. But then when they get to a certain point where people are handling that shot and now they got to think of something else to do, this is when they stop showing up places or in certain situations where they're going to be challenged, or that situation is not going to work, but they're going to start showing up to places where they're still continuing to have success with it, right? And I know this is like real, right? This is real stuff. Some of you like are going to hear this and go, whoa, I mean, I don't like the way that is. But it's not, hey, let's get mad about this. It's, hey, let's take a look at ourselves and figure out what it is that maybe we're being challenged. I know when I'm sharing this stuff, like, this is stuff that I have gone through, and I've had to swallow that pill, and I've had to swallow my ego, and I've had to swallow my pride, and had to come to some realization and accept some things, but only to do that because I knew that's what it was going to take for me to continue to grow and get to where I want to be in the sport of pickleball in a personal level. And then also as a professional, I've had to learn to let go of some things and learn a lot of things so I could learn the right things, because I know that was going to impact students and it's going to impact a group of new players coming through. So every set of new players come through, you have the opportunity to impact them in a way that's going to set them up for success, or impact them in a way that's going to set them up for a lot of redirecting down the road when they go to more seasoned coaches, right? And so, hard work is the player with the growth mindset. I don't care if you have this skill set or not. If you continue to work hard, you can outwork the person who started out above you. If you work hard, you can still get to where they are or even past them, right? So the thought for this week is, the more I continuously work on anything, the better I will get. So when things are not going the way you want to, you still show up every day, still work on one aspect of the game. Okay? So again, Thomas Yellow Eyes with Night Train Pickleball. I hope today's Mindset Monday locked or loaded really helped some of you. So just let us know how this is helping your game, how it's challenged you in a positive way to make some changes in your game possibly. And don't forget about our drilling guide that we have, that you can use to start help set up your drilling, okay? And that'll be linked. There will be a link below in the description. Okay, make sure to like and subscribe to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't. And please, if this is really helping you, feel free to share this video too with your other pickleball friends. Maybe this is something that they would enjoy. We'll see you in the next Mindset Monday.